You've answered the Call of Duty and clicked on this video. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Call of Duty games.
Any further complications and we're at war.
For this list, we'll be taking a look at the Call of Duty games that have stood out. There are a lot more games in this series since we did our original list, so if you haven't seen that one yet, make sure to check it out. This time, we'll be re-examining all the games released thus far and ranking them based on their stories and multiplayer and any new innovation they've brought that has kept the franchise going for as long as it has. Before we begin, I just want to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, War Thunder. With over 20 million players, this free-to-play game stands out because it is legitimately a great game. War Thunder is a deep military vehicle combat game with more than 1,200 historically accurate tanks, aircrafts, and ships to choose from. And it's available for free right now on Xbox One, Mac, Windows, and PS4, so check it out. Number 10, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. While sharing a similar title, this entry doesn't quite live up to the standard Modern Warfare set. But that's not to say that it's a bad game. In fact, it's a lot of fun. New gameplay mechanics brought on by the exosuit allowed for more interactive set pieces we weren't used to and brought a lot of verticality to the multiplayer.
Tsunami warning. Please evacuate to higher ground.
The cinematic quality of the campaign is backed by terrific acting by Troy Baker in the lead role. Not to mention that Kevin Spacey's fall in-game might just be more satisfying now than it's ever been. Number 9, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Arguably the most cinematic of all the entries, we get to see the world during a Third World War, and boy is it brutal. The campaign is one incredible action-packed set piece after the other and has a plethora of iconic moments, such as storming a tower in a juggernaut suit and the destruction of New York City.
Eyes on the exchange! Left side, dead ahead! Roger, I see it!
It's also the closing chapter to the Modern Warfare story that began 4 years prior. While flawed, the multiplayer still offered a lot of fun, especially with the introduction of Kill Confirmed and Spec Ops Survival Mode. Number 8, Call of Duty. This is where it all began. Codenamed Medal of Honor Killer during production, the team did everything they could to create the next big first-person shooter franchise, and boy did they succeed. The game's large-scale battles with an army of AI-controlled teammates at your side made you really feel like you were part of the battle. Acclaimed for its impressive set pieces and multiple campaigns, the series would follow its formula to varying degrees of success in the future, but would still maintain a critical and commercial hit. Number 7, Call of Duty 2.
Vasily, wait! Don't run out there! Throw a smoke grenade first to conceal our movement!
Improving on the original Call of Duty in every way, and being a launch title for the Xbox 360, this second entry into the franchise made it into a lot of homes across the world and launched the series into the legendary status that it holds today. The visual presentation between this and the last game has improved significantly, which is hard to fathom when we remember that they're only 2 years apart. Enemy AI was improved too, making it a harder challenge to beat. Number 6, Call of Duty World at War. Look, we know Call of Duty games have always been violent, but we hadn't seen anything like this. Limbs flying off, blood splatters everywhere, and you really feel like your life is on the line.
Outstanding!
Following Modern Warfare, World at War had to deliver, especially with it being set in World War II, and it definitely did. Multiplayer is expansive with vehicle controlling maps, and the introduction to Nazi zombies has the game full of replayability. Have you downloaded War Thunder yet? My favorite thing in this game are the damage models. Vehicles don't have typical hit points, but instead suffer actual damage to their components and crew. Combine that with the huge number of vehicles to pick from and 80 battlefields to fight through, and War Thunder is the most authentic and fun vehicle combat game I've ever played. 20 million other players are waiting for you, so play for free on Windows, Mac, Xbox One, and PS4, and register now to get a premium tank or aircraft and a 3-day boost. Number 5. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
What do you suggest?
A business trip.
For the better part of 8 years, longtime fans had been clamoring for the franchise to return to a modern setting, citing that recent entries had gone too far into the future and had relied too much on sci-fi elements. Thankfully, their pleas would finally be answered with the release of a brand new reboot of the Modern Warfare series.
Chemical weapons are now in the wild. Fix it.
After being absent in the previous year's release, Black Ops 4, the campaign made a triumphant return with a realistic and gritty story that also sees the return of fan favorite Captain Price. The multiplayer would introduce new game modes such as ground war and gunfight, and for the first time in the franchise's history would feature crossplay, allowing players to battle it out no matter what platform they play on.
Target locked.
Number 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. There's just something so endearing about this entry that makes it fun to think about and even more fun to play. Its multiplayer may have been unbalanced, but its weapons and map variety kept it fresh. Some could say Modern Warfare 2 is when the series began to get a bit tacky, but it was so full of content that you just couldn't help but play. Its campaign is as cinematic as they get, with many POVs throughout the conflict, and it continued to flesh out the characters we grew to love in the first Modern Warfare.
I thought I told you this was a one-way trip.
Looks like it still is. They'll be looking for us, you know.
Number 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Boys better get your shit together. He's gonna attack.
While its campaign may have been a bit far-fetched and oddly paced, there was still a surprising amount of cohesion and spectacle in this entry into the long-running series, and it was the quintessential multiplayer experience for Call of Duty. It was accommodating to every type of player and had the most customization we've ever seen, with its Pick 10 system for loadouts. Zombies mode is vastly improved with the inclusion of a sprawling map that rewards exploration and discovery, so long as a monkey demon doesn't jump on your head. Number 2. Call of Duty Black Ops. While still a straight-up action game, Black Ops had a more thriller and mystery vibe to it, which we hadn't experienced in any of the campaigns before it. It was doused in suspense and maintained a feeling of dread as players, along with protagonist Alex Mason, tried to figure out what those damn numbers meant.
Is that correct?
Yes.
The psychologically impactful campaign isn't the only positive. Multiplayer introduced the fan-favorite Nuketown, as well as fun wager matches that upped the stakes, as if our hearts weren't pounding enough. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Move.
Heads up!
Can we all just take a minute to remember that amazing reveal trailer? Infinity Ward's first foray into the modern era of combat was a huge success, with each mission in the campaign being unique and impactful, broken up with insanely cinematic events that had a surprising amount of emotional weight to them. Multiplayer was flawless, with great balancing and map variety. These were simpler times, with only 3 kill streaks and a much more limited create-a-class system, but that was all the game needed, and probably what any future game needs too. In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.